This is just my YouTube style from now on, because of the way it is, which is just the way it is. I like to make some videos, but I don't check the comments or the views or nothing. Same as my Facebook social media style, make some post and just let it fly and don't interact with it at all. Zero. Only exception is if, for instance, someone sees this video, for example, and let's say you something about it you think about or you find interest and you want to say something. The only way is if I meet you in real life, in person, and then you say, Lars, I saw that video and I wanted to say this, I had this advice, or I had this comment, or I had this question, or I liked it, or whatever. That's the only way that that's the only exception. Otherwise there will be no interaction online. I don't care at all. So got my next 1 month worth of my Tibetan Sowa Rigpa medicines, for my issue, and things seem to be gradually settling down. So these ones are interesting. This is what it is. For example, you see it says crush one of these pills and drink it with warm water, or I usually drink it with the Lung tea. I can show you. From the Min Si Kung Institute. And that one is really good for settling the prana, or the winds, the Lung in Tibetan, or the Qi in Chinese. But this is just a label. We want to as human beings, with our capacity to with our greatest capacity is not to just label things, which is typical. The first typical attitude of human beings is to find something and then give a name. And then you see this video and you say, oh, but you're using the incorrect labeling. So it doesn't matter, because we're human beings and we have a sort of spiritual consciousness, mind, energy. Doesn't matter. But with this, giving this context so far within yourself, you can triangulate what does that mean beyond any label, beyond the mind. So that one is N3. I think it's called Mutique. Each of these medicines, they have a number, which usually consists of a letter and then a digit, 1 or 2 digits. Like this is M14, this is M1, but M1, it's also called Bimala. This is a very typical Tibetan medicine for to help people who have spun out in some meditation or some energy practice and disordered their energy system, like what happened, which is why I'm taking it. And it's another one. This is Agar 20, AGAR 20, which is also called W4, and that one instructed to crush 3 of them and drink it with water between 5 and 6 p.m. So, because in Tibetan medicine, just like the old school Greek medicine system, I can't remember what it's called, but they also start the diagnosis, any diagnosis, looking at what is the condition of the body, the causes and conditions. Normally they will reduce everything to humours, meaning fluids or aspects of the body. Like in Greek, they will talk about the blood and blood is one of them in the Greek system. But in Tibetan, they don't have that. They just have the 3. They just have phlegm, bile, or lung, or wind. Phlegm, bile, or wind. Wind is more of the energetic one. So either whatever problem you have, either it's one of the physical ones, the phlegm, that something that corresponds to what they're talking about when they say phlegm, or what they're talking about when they say bile. I think those are more or less physical problem. But the wind problem, it's more an energetic. It's a non-physical problem. Like for my issue here with the only word we can use in Western medicine to describe it is tinnitus. But anyone with a little bit more wisdom, they'll say, oh, but what kind of tinnitus? Is it because of tinnitus can be, I think, up to about 30 between 30 or 40 different causes, different conditions can result in tinnitus. For example, it can be the eustachian tubes can be blocked and the pressure is causing it. Or it could be too much earwax, even too much wax build up in the ears, or the nerve, the TMJ nerve can get pinched by some joint, and then that can cause it. Or it could be like some chronic condition of the inner ear, for instance, labyrinthitis. The labyrinthine. There's a little blood vessel called the labyrinthine artery, the labyrinthine artery, which is as thin as like one hair, just big enough for one blood cell at a time to pass through that artery. And so there can be some problem with the labyrinthine artery, and that can cause it. Or it could be Meniere's disease. But anyway, both those, labyrinthitis and Meniere's, they're accompanied by vertigo, losing balance. But my one, it's not accompanied by any of those, and it's not due to earwax, it's not due to the eustachian tubes being blocked, it's not due to the TMJ, it's not Meniere's disease, it's not labyrinthitis. All these are physical, physical conditions. But unfortunately, my one was a non-physical, which you go to your GP, you go to the audiologist, you go to all sorts of specialists. They put you on all different machines. They check everything, and they say, "Oh, you're fine." It's just this is a subjective thing. Maybe you're just stressed or whatever. But clearly, you're not fine. So, yeah. So that's the thing. You're not fine. You have this constant ringing in your ears and in your head. It can be quite loud and quite distressing. I mean, it can be profoundly distressing. almost on the level of, say, having a deviated septum. You know, it's enough to make one. It's enough to make a person not really want to live any longer. You know, like I wouldn't. You could look for some examples. You know, you could search on YouTube, you know, tinnitus suicide video or deviated septum suicide video, and I'm pretty sure you will find many people. You will find people, you know, giving their last words because of the amount of constant discomfort and the way it just completely debilitates and destroys, you know, your life to have those kind of conditions. So, but the good thing is that although there's a lot of specialists and a lot of Western medicine, it can't help. It can't really help with these kind of non-physical problem, which is a problem of, you can say, the energy system, but really the nervous system, or the impulses of energy, of electrical and magnetic energy going through the nervous system. That's what we're talking about, the energy system. We're not talking about something, you know, something woo-woo or something that doesn't exist. We're talking about something that is very well understood in Eastern medicine. And I guess I went through that. Still going through this, but at least things are getting better. You know, I spent a long time. Spent a lot of, you know, I went through many different specialists and spent thousands of dollars on different acupuncturists and, you know, different energy healers and all sorts. I tried everything, you know, almost everything, but I tried enough different things to see, you know, but, you know, and I didn't, you know, I prayed to God, you know, went to the temple, meditated at the temple, and, you know, try to visualize manifest the right doctor coming about, the right practitioner, and, you know, eventually I, you know, found the right practitioners. You know, I crossed paths with the right, you know, I searched the right thing on Google, you know, went to the right practitioner, and finally, you know, could just be by chance, you never know, but at least, you know, found the right practitioner, and and then they know how to treat it. Things getting better. Yeah. Okay. So, dedicate the merit.